Okay, so let's go over doing automatic dialogue replacement in DaVinci Resolve. It's pretty easy to do, and in fact, it's a built-in feature of Resolve. But there's a few steps you have to go through to get everything up to make it easy to do. First thing we need to do is we need to have an open project with video in our timeline. We've got that right here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to the Fairlight panel. And you'll notice that I've got a floating viewer window right here. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And if you don't have a video window showing, make sure you have meter selected and you'll see the video window right here. Okay. And I recommend going and making that a floating window by clicking on that gadget right there. Right. Okay, that looks good. All right, the ADR panel that we want to use is in the upper left-hand corner here, and as you can see, I've got it selected. And there are three tabs here. There's List, Record, and Setup. Okay, so let's start with Setup. Right now, you'll see that my record source is grayed out. And if I go to Record Track, there's only one track, and that actually happens to be the track that the video is on. And I don't want to do that. I want to record on a dedicated track for my ADR. So let's go ahead and say Add Track right here. Let's go and select Mono because we only have one microphone. And let's name this track something that makes it sense for us. Okay, and I'll call it ADR. Okay, all right, that looks good. So now I can select that track as my record track. And I got a guide track, which is audio 1. Okay, and I can even put in a file name here. So I'll call this ADR. Okay. All right, so the next thing we want to do is we're going to select a record source. And I've got several here, but I'm going to choose XIO1. Okay, so just watch out here. I might have a little bit of echo, but I'll take care of that in just a second. Okay, and echo. All right. So I'm going to disarm that track, and that'll hopefully go away. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some pre-roll here. Add a couple of seconds of pre-roll. Okay, and post-roll is entirely up to you, but I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple of seconds of post-roll. Okay, and in fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself 3 seconds of pre-roll. Okay, right below here we have our character setup. We only have one character, but we'll go ahead and put that in. Okay, and right here is going to beep to the endpoint. Okay, that's what we want, beep to the at the endpoint. And then right below here is count in. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to turn that on because I want that. Okay, and so that looks good. Let's go under list view here. And right here we've got the only button we have active is new cue. So let's go ahead and set some cue points. If we come over here to our timeline, what we're looking for is a logical break in our dialogue. So that gives our talent an opportunity to stop and then maybe pick it up for the next set of lines. I happen to know there's a break in the dialogue around right here. So let's go ahead and check that out.
What I'm doing now is I'm currently working on my...
Okay, a little bit too far. Let's back it up just a little bit.
It's a way of learning about design.
Okay, that looks good. All right, by default, you may have this tool selected right here, the selection tool. But we want to come over here and select a range selection tool, okay? This is a handy dandy thing to have, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag across here. I'm going to select it. All right, so I've got my in and out points now selected. So I'm ready to go ahead and add a cue. So I'll do that, okay? I'll set the character to me, okay? And in here, you can put in some dialogue. Okay, and I'll tell you right now, this isn't going to fit on the screen particularly well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up a little bit. Okay. And this is going to go off the screen, but that's okay. I what I'm using it more of for is as a cue point for my talent, which is, in my case, me. Okay. All right. Okay, that looks good. Um, I've got my first cue point in. Okay, everything. The duration is 21 seconds. Okay, groovy. All right, so we're ready to go. So let's go on to record here. All right, and we're ready to start recording. So what's going to happen here is it's going to echo a little bit because of DaVinci Resolve. When you make a track live, you can hear yourself as you're recording, which makes perfectly good sense. And I want to say it as an aside, when you're doing ADR work in DaVinci Resolve, I really recommend using a pair of headphones for that particular reason. Otherwise, what you have to do is turn your speakers off when you're recording, because otherwise, what you'll get is you'll get some feedback. Or at the very worst, what will happen is the microphone will pick up the speakers and will record that along with your voice talent, and you'll get like this little weird delay sound effect, maybe. Okay. All right, so I'm going to I'm going to arm my track here. Okay. And I'm going to press record. Hello,
I'm Hal Meeks, and this is Introduction to Game.
Okay, that didn't work so well. Okay, but you can see over here that already have a take. And one of the things about DaVinci Resolve is you can record multiple takes and you get to pick the best one. We already know this one's terrible, so I'm going to give this one 1 star. Okay, so let's start over again. And this time I'm going to put the video window right up here so I can see it a little better. All right. Hello, I'm Hal Meeks, and this is Introduction to Game Design. A little bit about myself. I've got a master's degree from the College of Design at North Carolina State University in Art and Design. And what I've studied here was animation, particularly teaching animation to middle school and high school students as a way of learning about design.
What I'm doing now is I'm currently working.
Okay, and what you'll see is it will actually stop recording at the cue point, and I purposely let it record a little bit over that. Okay, just to give myself a little bit of extra room. All right, so let's go back and let's do another take. We'll do just a couple of takes here. All right. So again, oops, you're probably getting an echo at that point, but let's go ahead and let's do another take. All right. Hello, I'm Hal Meeks, and this is Introduction to Game Design. A little bit about myself. I got a master's degree from the College of Design at North Carolina State University in Art and Design. And what I studied was animation, particularly teaching animation to middle school and high school students as a way of learning about design.
What I'm doing now is I'm currently working.
Okay, let's turn this off. Okay, that was a pretty bad track. I actually missed some of the words in there. Okay, I'm going to rank that one a 4. I'm going to rank that a 3. And we're just going to do one last one. Okay, here we go. Hello, I'm Hal Meeks, and this is Introduction to Game Design. A little bit about myself. I've got a master's degree from the College of Design at North Carolina State University in Art and Design, and what I've studied there was animation, particularly teaching animation to middle school and high school kids as a way of learning about design.
What I'm doing now is I'm currently working.
Okay, I feel pretty good about that take, and so I'm going to go ahead and give that one 5 stars. Now, one thing I want you to note here is that I'm seeing all of my takes in my timeline, and you probably are not. In fact, let me stretch this out so we can see this a lot better, and let me go ahead and do the same thing right here. Okay? And so you are probably not seeing these audio layers. Let me show you how to turn that on. Okay, if we come under Help here, and we search for Layer, you'll see right here, you got layered audio editing. I've got that currently turned on. Okay, and you want to have that turned on. And then right below it is show audio track layers. Okay, and I've got that selected as well. Okay, so now what I can do is I can come back here. Okay, let me turn that off. You're probably still getting an echo. All right.
Hello, I'm Hal Meeks, and this is Introduction to Game Design. A little bit about myself. I've got a master's degree from the College of Design at North Carolina State University.
Okay, all right. Okay, so there's that one. Let's go and listen to, let's see, what are we ranked number 3? Number 3 got 4 stars. Number 2 got four stars. So let's drag that one to the top, and let's just try that one.
Hello, I'm Hal Meeks, and this is Introduction to Game Design. A little bit about myself. I've got a master's degree from the College of Design at North Carolina State University.
Okay, it's a little bit off, but it might be workable. Probably what I would do is actually do one more take. But what we're going to do, just to keep this short, I'm going to show you something else that you can do that may or may not help you. So a couple of things. First of all, notice that I can slide tracks around. And for you, you may be actually, oops, didn't want to do that. You may be finding that when you're moving your tracks around, that they're kind of snapping into location, okay? And that's because you've got snapping turned on. So again, we'll come under help here and we'll type in snap, and there's snapping. And normally when you're editing video, I recommend leaving snapping on. It really can help you out, and particularly with not getting gaps in edits, okay? It'll clean it up for you. But when you're working with audio and you're sliding audio around, I actually recommend turning snapping off, okay? And so what we can do is we can sort of like finesse this a little bit, and like so. And let's see what happens.
Hello, I'm Hal Meeks, and this is Introduction to Game Design.
Okay, we got one little part here that we could probably fix. Well, how would we fix that? Well, I'm going to show you something real quick, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. I'm more going to get you interested in it, but I also warn you this is a rabbit hole and that you can spend a lot of time here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on my track that I want to work with, and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to select Elastic Wave. And that's going to enable the Elastic Wave editor. Now, what Elastic Wave allows you to do is it allows you to retime audio by stretching it and compressing it. Okay. Okay. And so what I'm going to do, this is going to be a terrible example, and it's probably not going to work very well. But what I'm going to do is hold down the Command key here, and I'll get a plus symbol. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a endpoint for stretching, and then I'm going to set a anchor point. Okay, so watch what happens here. I can stretch this out a little bit, or I can compress it a little. Let's see what happens.
Hello, I'm Hal Meeks, and this is Introduction to Game Design. A little bit about myself.
Not too shabby. We got a little bit of problem here at the beginning, and we could probably do another little Elastic Wave right there and maybe stretch that little tiny part out just a little bit. But that's the Elastic Wave tool. Now, one thing to keep in mind about working with Elastic Wave is that you can definitely go down a rabbit hole here where you're working with a take, and the take is like 20 seconds long, and you've got 3 or 4 different timing problems. And so you're going through and you're retiming everything. You may find sometimes it's just simply easier just to have your talent do another take. Okay? All right. Anyway, that's as much as I'm going to show you right now about doing ADR and DaVinci Resolve. Okay?